All right, let's just take a second and check out the basic setup of the judicial branch, at least on the federal side. All right, so this is what the federal court system looks like. It's not just the Supreme Court, although that's going to be what we focus on for most of the time. All the ones with purple stars are called constitutional courts. These are the ones that are actually specifically mentioned in Article 3 of the Constitution. Because they're mentioned in Article 3 specifically, these are, again, called the constitutional courts. And if you serve on either the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeals, or the U.S. District Courts, you essentially have lifetime terms and you're appointed by the president. So the president just doesn't get to appoint Supreme Court justices, all of these justices, and the ones in the purple are those that come with lifetime terms. The U.S. district courts are the courts that hear most of the cases on a day-to-day basis involving like the federal government, like federal crimes, and then you can appeal it, and then you can appeal it again. So the purple ones are called the constitutional courts. All of the other courts are called legislative courts. These are courts that were created by Congress at a later date. Again, Article 3 that deals with the judicial branch is like super brief. And a lot of the sort of like gaps in Article 3 are filled in by like acts or laws that were passed by Congress. So all of the other courts on this like sort of like map here are legislative courts, meaning they were created by Congress. And as a result of that, they essentially come with like fixed terms, meaning they don't have life terms. They usually serve about 10-year terms, also appointed by the president. And then just to sort of keep in mind that our sort of judicial system is like multi-parted, meaning that we have, it's just federalism. There are state courts and then there are federal courts. So on the federal side, I just showed you, you essentially have the U.S. district courts that hear most of the cases on a day-to-day basis. You could then appeal to the U.S. Court of Appeals, and then potentially the Supreme Court could decide to take your case at some point. Um, but like probably most of the cases are heard on the state level every day. So like you have your state trial courts. Hopefully you'll get a chance to interact with the one judge that works on the Montgomery County level, Judge Silo, that has interacted with my AP classes like the last couple of years. These are like the judges that hear the crimes that take place in your communities on a fairly like regular basis. There is a court of appeals. There is a state Supreme Court in each of the 50 states. And then it's possible also to appeal from this side to the Supreme Court. So just kind of keep in mind that federalism exists in the judicial branch too. There are state courts that deal with like state crimes, and then there are federal courts that deal with like federal crimes.